In the shadow of the day, we'll embrace the world in gray, and the sun will set for you. I close both locks below the window. I close both blinds and turn away. Sometimes solutions aren't so simple. Sometimes goodbye's the only way. Oh, and the sun will set for you. The sun will set for you. In the shadow of the day, we'll embrace the world in gray, and the sun will set for you. And cards and flowers on your window. Your friends all plead for you to stay. Sometimes beginnings aren't so simple. Sometimes goodbye's the only way. Oh, and the sun will set for you. And the shadow of the day will embrace the world in gray, and the sun will set for you.
My keyboard's breaking in front of me. That's why I looked up the guitar chords real quick. You don't care about my problems, I know. I don't know that those are correct at all. No, some of my keys only work sometimes. I don't know why. And that one was late. That one was delayed. So I've got problems. I miss my Bluetooth, my Yamaha Favanova piano. It's a real piano. It's a digital, but it's nice. Got it when I was a big boy. Just built my house right before COVID hit. Had a corporate salary. But I can't really fit it in my apartment, so I got that cheap-ass Elise's piano. I'm about to the point where I'm going to play chess for fun and go back to tech. I'll have to delete some content. Hey, Eric Rose is playing chess in St. Louis. Well, that was 3 months ago. I think I played him that time, actually. But didn't do much of a tournament. He beat my ass pretty good. Professional athletes tend to do that. I don't know that he lost. Every now and then, in a city like St. Louis, where there's a lot of strong amateurs, if international master, Eric's not a grandmaster. I think he's a pretty strong international master, though. But if you play all day and you play a lot of people who are in the low 2000s, you might lose one. But I doubt he did. Is there a monthly tournament? I don't know if there is in January. At least I haven't seen it posted. Disappointing. I'm trying to play in the open section. Know my phone number. Not that I answer. It's pretty much off, and I call people back when I feel like it. Yeah, probably no bias. Little red Corvette. My status is expired. I need to renew my membership. Oh, shit. I'm in the naughty list. Yes, I'm a member. Unless that expired too. I don't know. Notes. I'm here to emerge victorious. I'm usually between the 2nd and 4th seed. I'll tell you, when they read the code of conduct, Not so much for the club itself, but I believe they're talking about for United States chess in general. I cringe a little bit, not because they're incorrect or that we shouldn't have rules, but that call it out stuff was a mess. And if I worked my ass off as an adult who didn't play chess as a kid, no one invited me, not my fault, only to get called out for something I didn't do or something that's majorly exaggerated, and I lose access to all those opportunities after I've worked for 6 years to become a master, which is unheard of as an adult, that will be major bullshit. Like I said, I miss my piano. I miss my house. Do I regret doing this? I try not to live in the past. COVID was a great excuse to take some risk. I don't know. Okay, I think I've got all my details filled out. This is all we have to do if we have an idea. I don't know that I consider content creators entrepreneurs, but to start a business or to fix things, to apologize for a mistake, it's not that complicated. Oh, there's more to the story. No. Usually you can just sign up, show up. Got my ass kicked for a couple years. Turns out anyone can become a member of the chess club. Out here doing it. Numbers aren't very good, but my theory is after America gets our asses kicked in intellectual pursuits like India is doing to us in chess right now, they do have good prizes at St. Louis. It sucks because I'm rarely qualifying for under prizes anymore, and that means I've basically got to win the tournament. All you got to do is show up. On that note, I posted this story on LinkedIn. The story happens all the time. It's not like prisoners and guards don't get into it. But both my cousins worked in, I think, level 5 prisons. I'm pretty sure they're both at level 5s at one point, which is bad people. I don't think they're bad. I think they were usually young, had no guidance, and had a lot of potential. They wouldn't have been in bad environments with no money and no one to teach them any better. That's my theory. Sprays inmate. Like I was saying, it's not that hard. Usually it's not that complicated to apologize, to fix things. Got 5 years in prison. I don't know what a prison guard captain is exactly, where that ranks in the hierarchy. I don't know how many reports that is from the warden. But they have spray to be used if they have a reason. Ignored his role as a caretaker for prisoners and violated the rights of those he's sworn to protect. These are prisoners. Like I said, I don't view prisoners as negatively as I'm sure a lot of people do. At least I see their potential. Pleaded guilty to conspiring to cover up wrongdoing. And that is how an investigation actually works in the real world. And we know he's guilty. Shit. Nah, I didn't see it, didn't do it. Are you sure he didn't do it? Are you sure he didn't do it? We don't need this publicity. Yeah, he didn't do it. Didn't do it. We know he did it. Sprayed the shit out of him for no reason, just to feel in control. That's unacceptable. Hey, actually, turns out, and I don't know in this case, turns out the guy's family on the outside cares and has some money. They're suing us. It's going to blow up in the news. Tell the truth now. Did he do it? Yeah, he did it. Well, why didn't you say that the first time? My point. Violent criminals and even child sex predators, which is about the only crime where everybody hates you. Look at Luigi Mangione. A lot of people love him. Girls are sitting there with their shirts off outside of Luigi's court appearances. Free Luigi. Who are you? She's gotta be crazy. No, bitch. I'm a lawyer. My grandma died because they delayed her health treatment. And I love Luigi Mangione. I go to church every Sunday. Never had a mental health diagnosis, and I was salutatorian at fucking Harvard Law School. Free Luigi. Oh shit. Oh no. Oh no. And a lot of crimes where it's a middle finger to authority, like that or dislike it. Well, a lot of criminals, like I said, they didn't grow up in luxury, so no, that guy might have deserved it. But you do not screw with kids. Still, even those who are in jail for screwing with children and are on predator lists, if and when they get out, do still have rights. Therefore, when something like this happens, the prisoner is serving his or her time. Should the punishment be more severe in some cases? We can argue that. Blatant abuse of power will not be tolerated by the Department of Justice. The Department of Justice, and this is why Luigi Mangione, going back to that example, should not have fucking shot somebody, of the many reasons. America is not perfect. No corporation, no person is perfect. But in a lot of countries, you don't have this. Yeah, it's somewhat corrupt every now and then, depending on where you're at, but there are good pockets of any large company, of even the most corrupt branch of government. There are good people, there are good pockets of it. Now, as we get higher, I wouldn't trust them as much because I saw how it works. Eventually, you'll get weeded out. You'll get labeled as someone who might talk too much or be too kind. But overall, America's doing great. We do not need to be shooting people because in a lot of countries, they do not have any protections. People do really feel the need just to survive. They feel the need to take matters into their own hands at times, but not in America. That's also why we'll never have a civil war in America. Not in my lifetime. We've got it too good. Now, just because we have it too good does not mean we need to break the rules. Or when something like this happens, we say, just be grateful. Nothing's perfect. Because if we're just always grateful, even when bad stuff happens, then America can turn into a not so great place where Laken Riley can't walk outside without getting raped and murdered, etc. So combine gratitude with logic and a little bit of proactiveness. I just signed up for my chess tournament. Think I'm full of shit. Think I'm not. Chess.com didn't want me, probably doesn't want me. I'll talk shit on the Neiman thing forever because that goes back to we all make mistakes. That's intentional, it's repetitive, and even their apology was, I'm sorry he reacted that way, basically. I'm sure that was a lot for him to go through. That's not an apology. That's we acquired Magnus Carlsen's company, and we're partners now. Screw him. It's not about me liking Neiman or even feeling sorry for Neiman. They do it to me in a heartbeat. Magnus Carlsen just had another outburst. He's getting sued. Shoves cameraman. You don't do that. He's just a winner. He's just a winner. I'm so sick of that. You're a winner. You've earned that. You suffered for it. You deserve the perks, the pay, the opportunities, the influence. Follow the rules and be an ambassador. I don't want him to benefit. I wouldn't mind if he got in a car wreck and it impacted his brain and ability to play chess at the highest level because he thinks he can go and just decide who deserves to play chess or who is innocent or who is cheating. Well, then in Erdisky just took his life. So, it does matter a lot, actually, when people just start jumping in and overstepping their bounds. As you can see, they want people to, Magnus Carlsen, oh. And I was that. One guy's autographing stuff. And right when I got here, that's when the Neiman thing hit. Right when I got here, Neiman was at that ceremony I went to. I'll do the corporate stuff. I'll kiss ass. I actually like these people. I'm actually impressed by these people. And then I will not play Neiman. Like, what would you do to me, you asshole? So I don't want him to benefit. I don't want his game to grow. I don't care if it does. I'm going to play it because I like it and I spent too much time. I'm already invested. It's a bit of a sunk cost, but I like to gamble. Sunk costs are dangerous because sunk costs means we probably shouldn't keep doing this, but we've already invested too much money, too much time. So let's keep rolling the dice. That's who I am. I'll play chess because I like to play chess. Also, a lot of benefits to playing chess, even if I do go back to tech and I don't make it as a content creator. Last point, and then I'll start playing a little bit. The Narodisky passing reminded me, ain't no amount of money or success in the world worth. I don't know him, but basically wanting to die or feeling like stress is that extreme. And when I stream chess, I don't feel good. Last stream, I played a song like I always do to start, kind of get out of work mode before I just switch into deep thinking in chess. And it was going good. I talk normal. I feel good. I look confident. And as the stream goes, you see me just getting in that zone where I stop reviewing my games as much until it turns into just back to back to back. And 9 hours have passed. I was supposed to walk my dog, go to the gym, something. And I just forget. And it's 9 hours later. I haven't slept. I'm about to have to go to work again. And I don't do that with Call of Duty. It's not worth it. I can't talk and play chess. It's too difficult. But when I get to go to the club, even when I lose or have a bad game, I don't spiral. I don't just want to play again, in part because I can't. The next game isn't until next week in that weekly nights tournament. And I just feel like I've accomplished something. Even if I lost, I go review it with the grandmaster. I learned something. I listen to his story or her story, whoever's in residence. And I feel great. As long as I don't pull out online chess, every now and then I'll bump into an acquaintance or someone I played in the past. I'll get their chess.com ID. And if I friend them on chess.com while I'm at the club, I can't even make it to my car without playing 10 million games. It's disgusting. It's an addiction. It's not their fault. Even if it were, it would do no good to blame them. But I'm pretty happy as long as I don't play online chess. I just never intended to be a real chess player when I started streaming. It was a COVID lockdown. It was a fling. It was a one-night stand. That's what I called this initially. One-night stand with a chess knight. That's my king. I was going to grab my knight stress ball, but I don't know where it's at. It was a one-night stand. That's the whole point of this thing was I was going to get good enough at chess to survive against top chess athletes with them severely handicapped in some way for one game, and then I'm not re-challenging. If I find a way to get lucky and they're down a night, or it would depend on how good I get. I didn't even know what a FIDE rating was when I started streaming, or USCF for that matter. But if I get lucky, we can talk about it. We can laugh about it. It can be good content. But there's no second chance. There's no Magnus Carlsen. He's probably cheating. That was the whole point of my freaking channel, man. So I got lucky as hell for one game. But that's why we should try. And you ruined that for me. And I'm pissed about it. I moved to St. Louis for that concept, for that belief. But I never would have played over the board chess seriously. Even when I was in St. Louis, I, of course, was going to play at the club because I already had before when I was visiting. So I knew how the tournaments were set up, and I know how you sign in, and I know, where the postings are. I know how it all works. But I didn't plan to try to get any good. I was in St. Louis making some connections. Now we're going to be a chess player. But I would stream Call of Duty or some other game if I got enough followers to make a good living from streaming. And I would play chess because I like to play chess. I think I sing fine, and I had never really taken vocal lessons. I took 3 before I moved here. But it was mostly just using the keyboard to match tone and stuff. So maybe I could get a lot better. I'm only 30 years old. But I would play piano. I would play Call of Duty. I would play games where, at worst, it's 4 hours, like Call of Duty Zombies. And then if I want to start a new one, I can. But my brain is not fried. With me and my friend Sean, who is my only friend now that we're adults who I ever really play zombies with. And I think he's got a serious relationship, so I'm sure his girlfriend and eventually possibly wife won't like me just hanging out playing zombies with her husband all day. It's better than gambling. But streaming chess just kills me. And it's unhealthy to sit inside alone and just torture your brain. If I'm around people, I've even thought about traveling to every chess club in America. And there are a lot of good chess clubs. The problem is people don't watch chess like we do football, American football, or even baseball, which I think is a great opportunity because baseball, a lot of people think baseball is very dry. Still, professional baseball games make a lot of money. even though baseball is slow. I like watching baseball, but I understand what's trying to be done. I don't like soccer, even though people compare baseball and soccer in terms of the pace of the game being very slow. I don't know what they're trying to do in soccer. I have no clue. Soccer is the only sport. I wasn't great at any sports. It's the only sport I couldn't just pick up and be better than almost everybody else at. I couldn't, my feet didn't do it. Baseball, I was good. Football, basketball, I was much better than people who weren't, the better players on high school teams, and even some who had a chance to go to college and play. But soccer, I suck at, so I never took the time to understand what they're trying to do. They don't ever fucking score. They're just kicking the damn ball around the field, and it drives me insane. If I understood what they were trying to do, or what play was being called, or what part of the field is the focus, or why a forward, a defenseman, I don't know what the fuck they're called, why each position, why each person got that position, what skills are necessary for each position. I might like soccer the same way I enjoy baseball, because it's not just a game. It's not just a pitcher throwing a pitch and it going back and then throwing another pitch. It's what's the count. That's why that guy swung at that fastball on the outside corner. He swung at that fastball, but he did not swing 2 pitches ago because it's a different count. He has a disadvantage in the at bat. It's fun that way. And chess is similar, but you got to understand it. So it's not that chess couldn't get watched or get very popular, but in my opinion, aside from players, I don't feel sorry for them at all, because they do an awful job promoting it. They do a terrible job. It's natural because they're so smart and so incredible. And the worst player on the St. Louis Cardinals roster is a multi-billionaire who will never have to work again if he or she just or if he just stays healthy. That's wokeism right there. She on the St. Louis Cardinals, it could be. But if he stays healthy for 7 years and manages his money decent, you're a multimillionaire and your family's set for life. If you're that equivalent chess player, you're the, I don't know, 700th best chess player in the world. You are completely broke forever. And that is sad, because they've worked just as hard in different ways, but worked just as hard, spent just as much time. It's just they don't get appreciated. I think that's sad. That's part of why I talk about it, because you promote it like shit. Nobody cares about Magnus Carlsen. It just makes us feel stupid watching him. I won't play him because I'm too good. Can you just see a beginner's perspective and market it differently? Because you're screwing everyone else. He's good enough and talented enough to make a living. But it just reminds us we don't belong. And even in St. Louis, I deal cards and I've given 8,000 or more Ubers. Nobody knows that St. Louis has a chess club, let alone the best chess club in America. That's amazing. That's amazing. They got some signs at the airport. It's on billboards. But they don't, at the club, I think they do. But I don't know that they promote amateur chess the way they should. And that's the only way to get people interested in chess, because no one understands what's happening. But even if chess blew up and I can make some money without being elite, because I'll never be elite, I didn't start young enough, it's not worth it. It's just not worth it. What got me on that rant? Oh, yeah, I was going to, I would travel to each chess club in America. Start with the big ones. I think Charlotte and St. Louis, possibly New York, are the only ones that get consistent with the very, very best athletes in the world willing to come and compete. But I would go. I wish I had a sound for a phone booth there. I would play my couple rapid games and stream it. Then I would go to the next club and just tour like Anna Cramley did, except for I would play more than I would hang out and eat and just show the city. And that would keep me from sitting alone inside my apartment, downward spiraling for 1,200 hours. But no amount of money is worth this. What it's done to my brain. I would stream, I would play music, and I'd play chess because I like to play chess. Real chess over the board. So if you like my content or my personality while I'm telling my chess jokes, every now and then I'm going to follow her on Twitch and various accounts that I just posted, but I don't actively stream on. If I get enough followers, I'll keep doing it, but I'm not having fun anymore. On the bright side, I did stop yesterday before I downward spiraled, and that's awesome. It's baby. I was singing Linkin Park. Bennington, he's got an incredible voice. Chester Bennington, the lead singer of Linkin Park. I'm going to stop talking after this brief thought. I'm going to play decent chess. Chester Bennington has an amazing voice. When he was alive, he's 41 when he passed, so he's quite a bit older than me. But when I was a kid, their music was pretty big. Let's pin stuff. And I heard him getting praised all the time. And when YouTube and podcasting blew up, it was even more so. Man, he's got an amazing voice. And I wasn't into music as much when I was a kid. So I'm just thinking, sure, he's fine. He's a professional musician. Now that I'm older, when I hear his stuff, man, he does. I watched a YouTube video of him warming up his vocals, hitting different notes, just the power in his voice. He's amazing. He took his life. Despite being super successful. See, I'm already screwing it up because if you take there, left pawn's hanging. Okay. But he struggled with addiction majorly. And he ended up, I don't think it was an overdose. I think he killed himself. How did Chester Bennington die? Is it hanging? He's good looking too. I mean, he's got everything going for him. Okay, so he left no note. It was hanging. He hung himself. And with addiction, like I said, I streamed way too much, so many times, and I meant to play one game. I'm usually pretty good about being on time for work, but I'm ashamed to admit, and I won't do this anymore. I haven't done this often, but on my way to work, I wouldn't look at the phone because I understand how severe the consequences of distracted driving can be. But I would sit there and just try to remember the position. And the drive to work is about 5 minutes. And as soon as I start that game, I'm thinking, I'm just tapping my thumb on my phone. Well, why did I start this game? I can't predict what someone's going to do. Even when people play blindfold chess, they have to have someone yell the notation. So I'm just clicking buttons. Why did I start this game? But instead of, one of the reasons I'm alive, to be blunt, instead of just, oh, there's something wrong with me. Oh, I did it again. I do try to talk nice to myself. And last night, I got one win away from my goal of 2100 in rapid. Instead of just criticizing myself, you idiot, you should have taken a walk. You should have been focused for that one last game. Said you downward spiraled. I think I downward spiraled close to 2050 again. I told myself, good job, because in the past, I spiraled down to 1800 again. And I stopped. I went to bed. I took care of my dog. Was it perfect? No. Was it better? Yes, it was. And a lot of suicides where the addiction or the problem or the depression goes from the normal pain we all experience in life to something that's dangerous. I strongly believe, I'm not speaking in Bennington's case anymore, or Narodisky, I don't know them. It's because we didn't try to focus on the good things we did as well. I end up with these pawns pushed in front of my king too much. Of course, what I got out of it, the bishop backing away and relieving pins, is why you do that. Okay, so that just appears to be so if I'm here, then you're here, then I'm here, then you take it. That's why I can't really do much. Because, of course, I would like to take with that bishop being gone, so I'll get that pawn, but that's not exactly possible. Yeah, I gotta take it back. No, then you take there because you don't want to leave that pawn exposed. You can't leave it sitting there though, unfortunately. Let's solidify that pawn. Not going to be super easy to attack my weakish B pawn. And I feel more comfortable again. I don't need to be pushing these pawns. But if I have that solidified where those checks and potential for your long range pieces to attack my king from that direction, if I push that pawn and these pawns are solidified, I don't feel as nervous about that because you'll have to try to break it with these two pawns and 4 pawns together. I'm going to leave my knight there as long as I possibly can. Okay, so now I don't love that. I don't love that move by you. So from here, you got to go all the way back. All right. So let's look at something like this. If you push, tell you what, if I can get there and get that bishop moved, I'd like my knight to be there. So here, push that pawn. There, discovers. Let's do this. Let's do this. I'm not wasting more time thinking about it. Yeah, fine. So that doesn't come with check. Then if I get here and I'm here, I have a move to steal. And if I can get my rook over there, my knight will also be in a position where if it moves and you try to pin stuff, which would be weird, but I guess you could if my bishop's gone. Then I come back and then it would protect my queen. The queen's trade, I can get that file. Your rooks aren't speaking at the moment. They're broken up. Going couples therapy, they're working shit out, but they're on opposite ends of the room. I'm not speaking to him. Well, why'd you come to therapy? We have to talk about this. No. I'm staying on my couch. Well, I'm staying on my couch. That's not the point of therapy. Doctor, then why'd you put 2 couches in your office? Good question. 2 couches in couples therapy? Seems like a recipe for disaster and isolation. But 1 couch. But the rooks are in couples therapy. It's just that they're on opposite ends of the room. They moved the couches, which used to be together in the therapist's office. And now they are, interesting move. And they're just fighting. And still, I think I can do this. So from here, you want to go there. That's interesting. I don't know if that's good. But it does make me think about what I was going to do. Because now you can stop it with that. Huh. Okay. Now if I get the chance, I don't mind to take and then put my horse there. It'd be pretty lazy for the opponent to just trade everything, but as black, it might not be that bad either. Yeah, it's going to be a powerful horse. bastard. I will draw this. I hate you. I don't care. I don't care. I guess you could play there, yeah. So if you take it, I'm here with a decent rook. I'll defend the checks that way. And this looks like a draw. I'm here, I can still defend the check with my rook. Lazy ass. Probably end up there. Boring. I wouldn't play that. I'm allowing this, which I don't love. I don't see an immediate problem. That's why you don't push your pawns right there. Shit. Trying to draw it. Not in that order. All right, where's your mate, though? That's a key component of chess. It's finding the mate when you're winning. What a jackass. Can't do that. Why am I even... See, I'm not even... Why would I even look at that? Oh, man. Ah! Good job. Shit. All right. Let's not just play back to back. Let's actually get better. First game of the day. Not an excuse, but let's use our time decent. Let's not push pawns in front of our king. Give ourselves a chance. So you're going to take with that. Fine. I don't actually love that decision by you. That pawn's not going to be so easy to defend unless you just stick your bishop there the whole game. Okay. You don't love making these moves. Like in the last game I mentioned, I don't need to be pushing my king pawns. I have time to move your bishop, which means I'll see and have tactics. Reasonable move. Okay. Looks like you're going to play g4 if you're going with that approach. Yeah. Okay. Hmm. All right. I might end up playing h5. I don't know if queen h4 helps me much. If your effort moves, it might be more interesting. Send my bishop and my queen might be able to see you. And when the queen leads, the rook, as you saw in the last game, my opponent. Okay. So, if I... Okay. So here... Yeah, okay, I see. I see the problem. Should have saw it already. Oh, okay. I understand. So let's get rid of that pin option. If you take, I'll take. You're pinned. I'm fine. That's what I need to do. And the queen check, since you have it double covered, doesn't help me. That's what I have to play. Relieves the pin, / gives my bishop space to retreat. If you don't do that, I'll just move my knight out of harm's way. Also, you got to consider me taking. So you could push if you want. Never panic. Anticipate +2, which will help us never panic. Pros and cons to almost every move. Of course, the pro is what I was worrying about, which is my bishop getting trapped. The con is it doesn't matter a whole lot at the moment, at least. Your king's not as safe as he used to be. And you allow this pin to matter. Okay, fine. Try to take stuff. Doesn't matter either. You don't want to push. Because it must have an extra attacker on that pinned horse. Okay. No, I don't want to do this. So you don't have any way to hurt that pawn. If I'm here, there's no check, so I have to take it. No, I don't. The rook is there, Dayton. So here, that pin is still true. If you want to attack it, you're going to have to use a piece to do so. If it's your bishop, I'll have a check. Yeah, all right, fine. So what, I'll be down a pawn that I can get back. Then what I was looking at earlier should come to life. I might play. I might move my effort somewhere. White is fine. But should manage this clock better. My king is just so much safer, though. And if you're trying to think of ways, I don't know what you're trying to think about here. You need to get some time back, accept the loss of that knight, continue. Because you're not saving it. It's impossible. Just using all your clock. Okay, fine. Okay. Discovers. I can't defend. Else, I lose my queen. Discovers. Here. I'm giving up that check, though. From here, your bishop is pinned, so that will be met with this, and the bishop can't move. That's probably fine as well. And this is all going to remain true, so that doesn't hurt me. My bishop won't be able to attack that pawn, which is not a big deal. And if I get a chance, I might just play there to be safe, since I have such an edge on time. Now that my queen is free from any discovery bullshit, I can look at taking that pawn. This being opened up is definitely good for me. My rook could take the pawn as well. What are you doing? What is wrong with you? Do you have anything right with you? Have we found that out yet? I'm not sure. It's here. This discovery is still true. I get it. I still can't go here because you'll help. So if that discovery happens, I'm here. I can take that. Why can't I take that? Why can't I take that? I should take that. I'm up one. Oh no! Whoa! Easy, Dayton. Easy. Let's calm down a little bit, just for a second. Let's not be giving away queens. Whoops. It's all right. Move is never made. Now, if you don't play that immediately, and probably you gotta do something fast. You have a minute left. I'm here. I'm cutting it off. I'm winning the chess battle. As I said, I'm winning the chess battle. So I was put on this earth to do. That's what's going to happen. Discover me. Discover me. Go ahead, enemy. I dare you. Double dog dare you. Discover. But before we start discovering, we should make sure we're well hidden. And my rook found you before you could find me. We'll emerge victorious. Against the Beth M. Sibo. It appears you're a bison. I didn't know bison played chess, but I'm not here to discriminate. Oh, I'm here to win. Where's my surrender flag? Yes. Perfect timing. Couldn't have timed that any better. $20.77. why I took that out of my phone booth. Oh, you're too good to play me, Mr. 2100? Really? I'll remember that. I got a list. What's that show? I never watched it, but the lead actor, he does more music now, and he came to perform in St. Louis at, what do they call it? Hollywood Casino, which is the casino I work at. They have an amphitheater, which is where, Wiz Khalifa, Snoop Dogg, I don't know who does our event planning, but they're amazing. Networking machines. Okay, do I take that pawn? I can. But we have another venue for smaller performances, or maybe if it's cold, if there's some reason that the amphitheater might not sell out, we'll use that venue. And I forget what it's called, Music House or something, maybe? And he came there. He's a big deal. He was fresh from Chicago, I think. That was his previous stop on the tour. And the show is called what's that show called? 13 Reasons Why. 13 Reasons Why. And basically there's a girl, I think her name was Sarah in the movie. She killed herself and she left probably an audio tape of all the people that wronged her, and it led to a lot of bullshit. And I'm going to keep a journal like that, except for I'm not going to take my life. I'm just going to use it as motivation, like Tom Brady. All the enemies. You're too good to play me? You're too good to play me? Okay, you want to abort that game? Got a journal. What's he going to do? Is it a manifesto? No. On my journal, I very explicitly wrote, this is not a manifesto. That way, if the FBI comes knocking on my door for some shit I said on social media, they'll be very confused. Hey, we're supposed to check his journal. We have a warrant, but the warrant said it was to check his manifesto, and clearly on this journal, Dayton wrote. I very clearly noted, this is not a manifesto. It's simply a journal. A lot of men have them. I wouldn't recommend promoting your journal. It's not the most masculine thing in the world, but I wrote not a manifesto. Leave me alone. Don't invade my privacy. That's where the enemy's names go. Too good to play me. Wasted my precious 15 seconds after I wasted 10 days downward spiraling. Don't do that. Hurts my feelings. I'll journal about you. So I'm a big, tough, strong man. It's in touch with my feminine side. Okay, what was I looking at? What's going on here? I got a pawn, right? Don't I get this pawn? Boom, boom, boom. I can take with either, right? I can't take yet because then you'll have help. I'm not here to help thy enemy. Here to emerge victorious. Okay, from there, then there. Oh, hold up. So I'm here. Then you're here. Then I can take. But the problem is, if I'm here, then you're here. Then I'm here. Then you're here. Then I take. I have no target. You do have a target. So you're here. And I'm screwed. Right? What'd I just say? Boom. There. I can't leave it. So I have to go there. There. And then you got my horse. So I would have gotten a rook. Then your bishop. You get my bishop and a rook. I got your pawn. That's what I do, right? Rook. You get my rook and knight. I get your rook and bishop, but then you still have that, so I can't do that, right? I'm out of it. Boom. Fuck it. I'm going to lose this game because I know I can't do that. But it feels right. And my brain's not working yet. It's early. I also work nights, so I'm usually backwards with my sleep schedule. But if you take, then I take. Oh, shit, yeah. Because if you take, then I take, then you can take. And I just fucked up really bad. I hate this game. Damn it. Okay, so how can I try to salvage it? Well, the first solution is you don't calculate correctly and you get scared of nothing. That would be the best way to salvage it. Okay, fine. Whoops. I was right. Didn't everything that I was talking about happen? I've got to take a break and go on a vacation. I have nothing left in my old brain. I'm just playing off feel, even though I have time to calculate. I start to calculate, my brain sputters. I'm over it. Okay, it's pinned, so I'm gonna use my pin. Duh. Else I go here, and then your bishop's gonna stop that nonsense, so I won't try it. Real simple. Let's go there. You can try that, in which case I will probably go and take. This is why you always just follow principles. Always just follow principles. Get your stuff in the game. And good players make exceptions. Average players who don't have time to dedicate their life to it don't. What are you doing? What are you doing? You think you're tricky? You think you're tricking anybody? You're only fooling yourself. It's the only person you're fooling is yourself. We have to be our own best friends in this world. It's a cruel world. It's beautiful as well. If you don't love yourself and the way you're playing, you clearly don't love yourself. Don't love yourself. No one's going to love you. Okay. Now the enemy is waking up a little bit. Let's bring our rook back. I still have pins. The knight doesn't want to move anytime soon. Reasonable but passive. You don't have a good way. Unless you use a knight. Okay. No, I don't like it. I just don't like it. I'll just hop right in here. My puzzle's coming together nicely. And all your puzzle pieces are still spread out across the table. Forced. And I'm here. And whatever you do, it's looking pretty slow. Because I have time. How do I take that first? Either way. You can't move in a manner. Yeah, I could, actually. So let's go here. First and foremost, let's go there. You can get that pawn if I want it. Do I want it? I think I want it. Okay, okay. See, you suck at chess. It's just that you suck at chess. You're not necessarily a bad person. You might do a lot of great stuff. You might volunteer. You might be a missionary going to the most dangerous parts of the universe, spreading the word of God, the wonderful world of Jesus. The wonderful word. Sorry, agnostic. But you're going to leave your back rank weak, which is why you probably should stick to whatever else you're doing with your time, because chess isn't your thing. Okay. I sack. You can't take because duh. And your bishop will no longer be helping, which means I win the chess battle. You have to leave your queen to defend the mate. I win. And in case you haven't spent much time playing competitive sports, that means you lose. That means you lose. And guess what? I'll continue the plan until you're very sad. Likely the better decision is here, but I like to show off. It makes me feel fancy. Okay, here. Okay, so here, and I'm just gonna win the game, no matter how this gets shaken out. That's the better way to do it. Let's be clean. Now let's have fun. Ooh! Back to back. Enemies don't want to fight this morning. See, I'm telling myself why I can't do that, and I still do that. Okay. Lock in. Learn from your mistakes. Okay, rook takes. Rook takes. Bishop takes. It's targeting my rook, which is why I had to do that. And that happens. So I'm not down any material. I don't know why it's that bad for me then. Aside from usually, even though I have an extra rook, you don't want to give away 2 minor pieces. A lot can be done because essentially we have rook, rook, queen, queen, bishop, bishop, my rook for 2 minor pieces. There's a opening. What do they call that? Is it the fried liver opening? I think that's what it is. I don't know opening. That's like conceptually what it is. But when basically a player takes that pawn with check and gives away 2 minor pieces for the rook to take. So you get a pawn and a rook for 2 minor pieces, which is equal because 3 plus 3 is 6, and then 1 plus 5 is 6. It's equal, but it's not. It's not good. And probably the same concept there, which is why the robot didn't like my play. And I'm being real lazy here. Real lazy. Queen d3. Real lazy. Yeah, bishop takes on f3, and then you can't use that knight because I'll take, so you just damage your pawn structure, and I have checks and a lot of options. I'm not seeing the board well. But I count to 2 real good. almost every time, even when I'm tired, even when I've played too many games. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Chess is hard. Can you count to 2? Yeah, but I'll never be a grandmaster that way. You're right. It's a tough goal, but you can be 2,000 online that way. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. What did the bishop do? About that. Start counting to 2. This jackass. I paid $1,000 last month for my daughter to get lessons with the best chess player in our city. He's going through the Roy Lopez in detail. He's handing her books, Bobby Fischer books on the endgame, thousands of pages total. And this asshole comes along, he says his name's Dayton, on YouTube. My daughter shows me his video. Hey, he didn't charge me, and Dayton, this Dayton guy just told me if I count to 2, I'll be better than all my friends at school. What did you just say? What did you just say, honey? Don't call me honey, I'm a female fucking warrior. My daughter's saying fuck now? Yeah. TikTok's here. Kids learn that word and a lot of other stuff from the internet before they're ready. But Dad, I just had to count to 2. Like, he's not even talking about chess yet. I'm just sitting in my room counting to 2 all day. That sounds like a mentally ill thing to do, just sit in your room and count to 2. But he said it's going to work. I had to try it. Okay. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Figure out chess later. 1, 2, 1, 2. That's tactics. 1, 2, 1, 2. Uno, dos. Uno, dos. 15 away. Come on now. Come on. I want it. I want it bad. I want it real bad. That's playable, but not. There's some trade-offs with that, though. When the queen takes, okay, I'm probably going to do this. All right, yeah, so let's get active. Here, I'm here. Just going to help me develop, so you don't want to give that well, I mean, you can't give that check. It's not lovely. All right, so I'm just up a pawn. Boop. Okay. When we're up a pawn, play very smart. Usually it's not a bad idea when you know you've actually won a pawn and there's not compensation. Get developed, save some time, get your king safe, emerge victorious in the chess battle. This is lazy but not wrong. There's always that idea. You're getting the rook, but you'll just play there, so I'm not going to do that. So here, if you play there, let's calm down a little bit. Let's calm down. Bishop d6. Fine developing move. Prevents me from immediately going bishop c4, which is a pretty good square. Tempting to just continue with what I was saying, but that knight is pretty good. I can still do that because 1, 2, I count to 2 real good. Not only with my moves, but in my counter capture, just gotta count to 2. Just make sure you count to 2. And all is well in the world of chess, in the world of low-level chess, where you don't need to be making exceptions or even thinking about when an exception should be made. Just count to 2. Don't screw yourself out of the opening. Count to 2. Okay, so now the tactic. I don't even know the definition of tactics, man. I don't care. Everything's a tactic in my book. So here, I'm here, and you have problems because you can't take it. and have an extra attacker, I'll win the chess battle. That's what you should be seeing right now. It's the only thing that matters. And why did I see that? Because I'm counting the dose. Attacking and defending, count the dose in every single way. Just count 2, 2. I have this. So the opponent should be saying, okay, there's 1. And at a glance, it looks fine. It looks like you didn't count the 2. Yeah, you did. Okay. That's okay. So I can still do that. Then I just get there, and your king's there to support the bishop. So, I'm encouraging you to take that knight. I'll have a good pawn. What'd you just do? Yeah, that's fine too. So you saw what you needed to see. Cool. Now I'm going to add some help. Do it that way if I want. Because how do you hurt this pawn? Watch this shit. And when we push these pawns, in most cases we're in a castle short, which is O-O. I go in and out. Like, I want to teach, and when I'm streaming, I understand this doesn't really matter. Anyone that's good at chess knows online's basically a scam. Okay, so that's interesting. And it's almost like you're in my head. Are you watching my stream? Because now that pawn wouldn't be weak anymore. It's supported. Okay, so we're going to further encourage the take of my horse. If not, you're going to line up your bishop, which is kind of annoying. But fine. I can still do that. A little lazy when I make those pawn moves this early. They're overly, I don't even know if aggressive is the right word necessarily. I don't love whatever you think you're doing, though. I don't like that move by you. Why would you do that? What am I missing here? Your checks run scary. Okay. Yeah, I mean, decent try, but I don't like it because I have a target, which means I have time. appreciate you seeing that. It matters a ton. Okay. No, your only annoyance is this pawn. And it's not going to be near enough if I play well to salvage the game for you. Okay. What'd you just do? You just blundered the game? Yes. You blundered the game. You've got to use your queen to help support that pawn. Can I get 3 resignations in a row, please? Can I get 3 of them in a row? In bowling, that's a turkey. Is that what turkeys sound like? Okay. No, see, I'm showing the wrong moves. You shouldn't do that. Can't take it. Can't touch it. Enemy. That's a better move. Lazy ass. You get cheap tricks. Well, guess what? I'll make life easy on myself too. Not clean, not perfect. The whole premise, like I said, when I started streaming in my content pursuit, I'm not here to be the best chess player. I'm here to emerge victorious. And it's funnier. And there was a stretch of time. The chess videos I prefer to make are static. Static content. I'm not streaming. I can't entertain. My personality can't sparkle while I'm focusing on chess. But like, the opponents would blunder. I'd be getting outplayed, or I'd outplay them and then I'd blunder. And I would just find just ridiculously lucky ways to win. And that is the best content. It's totally in line with my chess story and how I promoted my content early on. Tired with the devices too much since COVID. And as part of one of the club managers is awful. And like I said, count the two / understand how much time you have for things to play out. The best example of that from the last game was it's badass. That's a badass sounds kind of like, what show is that? She bad. Bad means she good? No, bad like she hot. Like bad. She bad. Bad is bad. No. Bad is good. What show is that? Like when I say badass, that implies it's cool. Wow, you found that. That's dangerous. But bad is just you suck at chess. So I don't mean to say badass. I mean bad. It's bad. That's a bad move. Because you're thinking that here, and what I'm seeing, of course, which is correct, that pawn will be loose because my knight will attack. But you're thinking, but at least they're thinking. You can tell at this level they're thinking, and they're not entirely wrong, or parts of their plans are logical, and sometimes they're really good plans. But here, your plan is right because you're going to move my knight, so I can't take that back. You think we're going to be equal, and you're going to be kind of invasive. But I'm here. You have to respond to it. Let's think in terms of responding. Count to 2, responding, creating a threat. So something has to be responded to. When you hear me talk, even when I'm not streaming and I'm actually, like I said, the static content where I'm just playing one game, and sometimes I would only play one game at a scheduled time, so I'm just focused for that game. But even then, I don't really know what I'm doing. I don't see specific lines because I'm not that good at chess in the scheme of really good players. I'm roughly 90, 91 percentile in America of those playing competitively, not online. The problem is, to get to my level in over-the-board chess, it's not necessarily easy depending on how smart you are. I don't know that I'm that IQ smart. I would say much better than average, but I'm no genius. Never been identified as such. But to get from 0 to where I'm at is doable. To get from where I'm at to master and above is a fucking chore. Where you're seeing exactly what could or is going to happen. I got a decent feel, which might indicate some talent had I started younger, especially. It's hard to know because anything I did that was weird or super intellectual, I did not discuss because I was a jock. So secretly, I was jealous of the band kids and stuff because I played some piano. I don't think any of my high school kids or high school friends know that I played piano, and I wasn't any good then, but I did play piano as a kid, and my mom had a piano in her house. I touched every now and then, but I didn't get good till after because I stopped playing sports. And I think I started screwing around with guitar a little bit my senior year of high school, but I was no good. So I never would have even told people, but I was looking at the band kids. I'm like, that looks fun. You guys would be my friends. So do I have any talent in chess? No, it's hard to say, but I did memorize cards and I did a few other pretty weird things in my younger years that someone who's a chess coach might say, okay, he might, had he channeled that toward chess, that's different type of ability. But I speak in terms of responding threats, feel. There's something that could happen there. That doesn't look good. And when you look at, and when you play it out, it's of course not good. But you got to get to where you think that way. And if you get, and that can get you to a good level where I hope, America, if there's one thing that I will say about even the most arrogant, mean American, and I love America. America's great, but there are good and bad apples everywhere. And even Americans who maybe are lazy or entitled don't like getting our asses kicked. And once India starts beating our asses in chess and other intellectual pursuits, and they deserve it. I've heard good things about their education system. I have nothing against people from India. Ooh, that'll wake up some people with money. There's already kind of a war with H-1B visas and big tech because corporations, that's the only people who aren't patriotic. Not because they're bad and not because they don't do good for America. They protect their company, and any good that gets done for America is an accident and a result of them doing what's best for their company. They do not care about America when they're at work. But if customers start to really care, that money and that a lot of talented people in corporate, that starts going to America. I'm telling you, you can get this lack of interest in chess fixed. But to get to 1,600 or so, like I am over the board, you got to get that feel. And once you get there, if there is some money or if there is some growth in intellectual pursuits, some interest as America starts investing in our education system more, hopefully, in teachers, you can get an investment, you can get help, you can get coaches to take a chance on you. There are scholarships like Carissa you've got that become more prevalent by just doing what I'm doing. And you can learn to see specific lines in great detail later. But you got to prove that you're decent or have potential first, or no one will believe in you. And so when you listen to me talk, it's feel. There's a threat. It's 1, 2, how many moves? And a lot of times if you get the first 2 correct, the third, fourth moves, or at least reasonable third and fourth moves, you start to say, okay, I see that. First 2 moves, especially when there's a lot of options, maybe not that hard, but kind of like in the end game. Some people say, depending on the end game position, which is absolutely true, you can calculate a lot further. And once you get those first 2 moves right in the open and middle game, sometimes the third and fourth become more like the end game argument. I can see deeper. It becomes more clear. But the first 2 have to be right. So I know that's wrong. The enemy didn't, because from the enemy's perspective, 1. Okay, what happens? What was going to happen, which is why that move was made. That's how I know you're on the same thought process as me. This is your strategy because you understood my strategy, which is I want that pawn. I was calling this out during the game. This pawn supports that pawn. Now this pawn is not needed to support this pawn, which is why I'm thinking you might want to push. Otherwise, what's the point of that pawn move? You're just weakening a lot of shit on this diagonal. Okay? And I called that out. The computer says it's best. To me, it's obvious. And when you're making an obvious move, sometimes it's not that great in shorter games. But maybe I made it in part because I know exactly what you want to do. You want to keep that pawn supported. Okay? Here. I don't know if the enemy's looking at this or not, but that's one I take, which we were both seeing this. 1 full move is done. 2. I wasn't looking at that necessarily because it's pretty stupid. 1.5. You stop counting at 1.5. But had the opponent counted to 2 and not stopped at 1.5, there's 2. Now look how much more clear it is. If you're not that advanced or you're not visualizing well yet, don't calculate. Look how different this is from Black's perspective and how much easier it is. Like I said, if you get those first 2 moves correct and you get consistent at counting 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, how much clearer this is versus that. If you can just see that extra half move, it's a different fucking world. Because now, 1, 2, all that that I'm talking about, it's out the window. It's very clear your queen is threatened. So the plans get more clarity after that first 1, 2. Often, your queen has to move. You got to do something. Well, now we're eliminating options, aren't we? We know the queen has to move. We're eliminating all the other pieces. So the queen either has to move or the threat has to be removed. You have 2 fucking choices. Whereas at the start of this sequence, there were a lot of things that could be done. You have tons of choices. Chess is a game of infinite choices. But count to 2, and now, I don't have choices. So let's not be wrong. Let's not be wrong, and sometimes both moves are fine. So there's your 3. And now, oh shit, well, there's the 3. A piece of great value is getting threatened, the rook. So I can't let that happen. And those last 1.5, 1, 2, 3, or 1.5, 2, 2.5, 3. Those last 1.5 were so much easier to find than the first 1.5. A million times easier to find. But the opponent stopped counting, and at this level, and just the way you played, I can tell you're decent enough to find that. You just stop thinking. An argument against just talent. That's not talent. That's just, it doesn't matter how talented you are, how gifted you are. You stop counting at 1.5 because I'm not going to sell courts. I don't care that much. Unless it's to my chess army. And I wouldn't sell it to them. I'm just going to build fucking prodigies. It's just laziness. It's just not having a game plan on how to think for the game. You counted, and I guarantee the opponent doesn't know that he or she just counted to 1.5 steps, but I do. 1 or half, 1, 1.5. You stopped. Otherwise, 2 would have given you all the clarity. If you would have been able to visualize that on a board, virtual board or otherwise, then you would now be able to easily see 2.5, 3. Now what happens? Now it's super clear because there's a threat. Have to respond to the threat, and you can't threaten anything of mine. My pieces are very, very safe. A lot of potential to get active. So count to 2. And if we count to 2, and we don't even try to count to 3 or anything higher, always, in every phase of the game, I would say, unless you have a coach to make exceptions to your training plan, if you don't have that or you're not interested, you just want to get good to play with your kid or beat your friends every time, count to 2 always. And eventually, it will be impossible for you not to see a lot of those things. They're not necessarily forced. I wouldn't call them forced, but they are obvious after 2. But you cannot stop counting before 2. Let's get to 2100. That's Alakon's defense is just the knight move, and now it's all a variation. Is a Scandinavian? That's not associated with Alakon. Stop talking, Dayton. Focus on the chess game. See, I don't like that they pop up the openings and stuff because I want to know. I want to research them. All right, fine. Why'd you do that? Is that my mistake already? Boom. You can't do that. The pin is not useful. What'd you just do? Okay, I see. I consider that too, but I'm pretty sure I'm good. Because you don't want to go. What are you doing, dude? Because now I can take that because I'm supported, and your bishop can't re. People suck so fucking bad. Stop cussing, Dayton. Can't remove the threat. Can't remove the threat. I defend. Kiss my ass. You gonna make this easy on me? Maybe. And my 2100 game will be a massacre. What am I doing? You don't have a light bishop to make this annoying. I don't care about those pawns because you're under attack and you shouldn't either. And that's gonna come. Most likely. I could have also played that, which is not encouraging. I didn't even look at that. I guess I can't. Go ahead. Boom. Forced. Double check. Forced, else mate. That doesn't help you. Boom. Knight can't take. I have help. Rook has to take. You're smothered. Double check. King has to move. Moves there. You're mated, as I said. Rook is forced. You have nowhere to go. Give me that award. Woo! That's the dynamic. Oh, oh. Ba-boom, ba-boom, boom, boom, ba-boom, ba-boom. That's what your body's saying. Ba-boom, ba-boom, boom, boom, ba-boom, ba-boom. Chris Brown is in the building. The young boy just turned 16 and I got boom 6,000 hot bikes that I rock. Boom. 3 or 4 sweeties on my bike. This might convince them slow all the traffic down to a complete stop. Cause you speak in that slang that I talk. That sassy tempo with that walk. Another slanging in that bikini just might convince them. Mama, you may be 3 years older, but you hot. Give me that. You keep acting like you like what I got. Give me that. Know you like it how I lean in the leg. You could be in the back saying, gimme, gimme, gimme. Ooh. What an interesting time to be alive. Every song ever written, there's tabs. If you're willing to pay a little bit, you can find the sheet music. Go see if Tyler One wants to promote chess.com. Do his League of Legends fans who don't give a fuck. Politicians. I can't hear it yet. That's how I want to do it. So leave that there. See, I don't know how to play. I don't know how to do anything. I just Google stuff until I figure it out. I don't hear it at all. But it looks like that's consistent. So I guess it's right. I'm just not hearing it for some reason. I don't want to make excuses, but I can blame a lot of things on sitting inside a phone booth alone for the last 5 years, playing chess, messing with your mind a little bit. Though 2100, take that. I might just stop. I can definitely get to 2200 as well. Wow, he's suddenly going up so much. That's suspicious. I took a long break from Rapid, mainly to focus on Blitz and not waste so much of my life. Okay, so there are no obvious chords on it, I guess. So I would shoot up in Rapid if I played a lot. I could definitely get 2200 right now. It would take a lot of games and a lot of losses and a lot of adjustment, but without taking a lesson or anything, I could get 2200. It'd be a pain in my ass, but I could do it. Just find the lyrics and sing that song because it's so fitting. Maybe it's just the rhythm. I'm not doing the right rhythm. There, okay. Chris Brown is in the building. I'm a human, bitch. We're all going to get hacked. Stockholders don't care about anything but speed and money. Speed and balling on a budget does not lead to great cybersecurity. Is it in the key of B minor? Is it though? Are you sure? So where's my B minor in that mess? That's interesting. See, the guitar, it's beautiful. Okay, we're saying F sharp minor now. Which one is it? Guitar is cool. It's not near as complicated as chess. Music is not. Music as a language is the same. I was talking about feel, pattern recognition. It's all true, but it's not near as vast. You could argue music can be solved, though there are YouTubers that are way more advanced with music than I'll ever be or care to be. And one guy, my favorite, his whole apartment on the walls, it looks like a kid with insane talent. You know those shows where the kid's like a prodigy and it's weird and they're trying to get him under control and he just keeps like excelling at everything. Just an annoying kid. It looks like that kid just drew everything all over this guy's walls and it's different charts. Not for every instrument, just for guitar. So all of the chord charts, and it's just a fretboard of a guitar all over, just many fretboards on posters in this guy's house. And he's just drawing different chords, which is usually just dots on the fretboard, where you could find different chords. And most everything you need to know to be decent on guitar is major, minor. But of course, there's no such thing as a diminished scale necessarily. Like a diminished is not a major. There are 4 major types of chords, not major chords. There are 4 significant chords in music, which are major, minor, augmented, diminished. But you can get so in depth with that. It's so much fun. And I would never go crazy like that guy because at some point, unless you're a trained musician at an elite school like AMDA or something, you can't hear the difference in all the stuff that guy's drawing on his posters. Nor would you want to. You'll lose your mind. But it is kind of interesting. And after COVID, I don't care if you're beekeeping. I don't care if you're playing chess. I don't care if you're dunking a basketball behind your head. If you're into it and you're not just, I'm here because I have to be, I'll listen. I might not like it. I might not agree with you, but I will listen. I will respect you. because that was a weird, lonely time. And anyone with a brain should have used that time to rethink his or her life, especially the younger you are. Hey, do I really need to do this job? I wish I would have done that. I didn't think about the job aspect of it until after all the crap happened. But I thought about a lot of things. What I was sure of is there's nothing wrong with making money or even doing a job you hate if you have 2 kids, if you messed up, you married the wrong guy or girl, you got to take care of your family. There's admirable. It's definitely admirable. But if you're just doing things you hate because you think you're supposed to, don't want to upset your family, and there's no good reason aside from I don't want to do something different, COVID lockdown should have been a great time to reflect and change course. And I don't have a great relationship with everyone I care about right now, in part because I went to college. Didn't you were doing well? Yeah, but it's a very lonely feeling, and some people listen, some don't. I was talking to my granny about it, and without complaining, I said, "Granny, a lot of my generation feels abandoned. My grandpa was a truck driver. Robots are going to drive trucks. They already are, but they will be approved, and there will not be human drivers very soon, well before I'm even close to retirement age. And I'm 30 years old. So to just say, do this, or why would you not go kiss ass at another tech company? Well, because I saw what happened to me at that one. They're all competing, so they all have some similarities, the big tech companies. Walmart is big tech now. So if I could go drive a truck or do the white picket fence thing without having to worry about being laid off after I fuck people, after I possibly break the law, after I do things that I would not be proud to tell my granny about. I'm no angel. At family dinner, I don't want to lie to people. I don't want to have to remember my lies. And the H-1B visa, it is illegal if you didn't look for Americans. But to just say, we'll do this because I did, or the safe thing. I saw my mentors get laid off. I'm no angel. Again, like when I was 21 or 20 when I interned, yeah, it's really good. You'd be crazy to leave that. But when you see people get laid off and you see 50-year-olds who've done nothing wrong, never committed a crime, a lot of them worked at a company before to get that opportunity because they're making really good money at a place like Walmart that's huge and very profitable and established. And to see them get told by it, and I'm not saying bad things about the company in this instance. The H-1B visa is the only really bad thing. I think most of Walmart's probably good. That's why they should just transfer me to operations or something. But hey, is your department hiring, man? I don't know. You're my mentor. I met you at a speaking event. You're 50. You're better than me. That's why I ask you for help. Yeah, man, I got to let go. And if your department's hiring, let me know. I don't know. I'm not in those meetings, bro. So when you see enough of those, and I'm not saying that it's the majority, but my whole first intern team, they got let go, and they could have reapplied for. They basically created a third-party company that does a similar functions, probably with less benefits, less pay, and stuff. And most of them probably did because their families live there. They are familiar with a lot of the software, but it still sucks. It's just business, but it still sucks. So when you see that, okay, if you get let go, maybe you can take something that's not as good, where you see them get replaced with an H-1B visa holder, or you see people just carrying their boxes out that families are going to have to move. They moved to Bentonville for that. I see it all differently, but it hurts my generation's feelings. I'm not the only one, I'm sure. When our parents and grandparents, well, we did this, or we thought you were going to do this when you went to college. Yeah, I didn't think AI would work. That wasn't even discussed in any classes. In the craziest friend circles that we talked about everything, no one was talking about AI in 2017. And now we're living in it. So to just act like we're stupid or immature for not doing what you want, man, if we could have done the truck driving or something that was stable and not had to worry about a robot replacing us or the company just telling us bye with no warning, not even thanking us, just a mass Zoom call, maybe we would. But all those things during COVID lockdown, you realize nothing's safe. So take chances. Give people chances. That's a hard thing for men right now. I'm not saying women don't deserve opportunity. I personally wouldn't want to marry a woman who is a high-ranking corporate officer, for example, because say what you want. It's important to separate everything, so we don't merge our personal life with work. And if we go on a date and then we go to play basketball, we need to be in a different mindset. But at the end of the day, if we spend a third of our life doing something, that is impossible for it not to rub off on us. I think that's why the Sharon Moore, Michigan coach, for example, got in some trouble. That's why a lot of really nice bars near big corporations have kind of a speakeasy concept. So those important people can go, and it's kind of a narcissistic thing. Like in my opinion, a bench player for Arkansas University or Mizzou or whoever is more well known than um, pretty much every grown up worker except possibly a judge. If you're a judge, you might be well known. A corporation might have helped you get that position in some ways, even if it's just that you went to a major university where a corporation's donating. You might be well known as a judge, but you're not a professional athlete. You're not a movie star. Why do you need to go to the back of some already fancy bar just so you think people are going to recognize you? Nobody gives a fuck. Unless you are the top dog like the Coldplay Affair guy, the CEO, nobody knows who you are. What an arrogant thing to need a speakeasy when you're 50 years old and you have a family. You don't need to be going out chasing girls or guys. If your life is that stressful, you need to go on a vacation with your kids. You take your wife on a nice date. You don't need a speakeasy. And that type of treatment is what leads to the Coldplay Affair, by the way. The whatever that guy's name was. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, giving people chances. But I wouldn't personally. I would have to know a lot, and I would date her a lot longer before I married her if she was a big corporate woman. Because when it's time to be soft and be more motherly and stuff, I'm telling you, when you got to stomp on throats, and I would invest. I would vote for a female president. I would invest in a company that's ran by a woman. I just wouldn't want to marry her. You got to stomp on throats. You better. I'm a stockholder, ma'am. But over the long haul, you cannot completely separate that. And one of the harder things for men right now is we are competing with that, and a lot of women want that. I think some are toning it down now that they're realizing, hey, we can be the bosses, and men can even like that or be okay with that. But you can't make us think you're sexy. You can't make us want to have kids with you at all. And you can't call us sexist for saying what I just said. I'm not saying I wouldn't report to you. I'm not saying I wouldn't do what you told me to do. I'm saying I don't care how smoking hot you are. You just became in my eyes, and almost all men think that way. And women need to have sympathy instead of judging that statement. You want to be the best chess player in the world? If it's something like chess where it's more creative and you're not directly making business decisions about money that can make or break companies, and you're just beating one person at a time over the board, I don't know. Still, probably it wouldn't be my first choice. But if somebody screwed with her opportunities to try, and I were in a position to help, I would stop that shit. Because I've seen what it's done to men. And also, when I was talking about grandparents saying, why don't you just do this? Well, because it's COVID, AI. Well, they weren't competing with women for everything either. And what women do need to consider when they're bashing men and stuff is nobody cares about me. Like if I fail in this and then I go do drugs and I end up in prison and I come out in major debt, you can think I'm attractive, physically attractive. You can think I'm funny. Most girls would not marry me. If the roles were flipped, the best way I've heard it put is had Jay-Z not been Jay-Z, Beyonce would not have dated him. Not because Beyonce's a bad person. I'm a Beyonce fan personally. If Jay-Z were just a McDonald's worker, nothing against McDonald's workers, Beyonce would not have married him or even went on one date, never kissed him, nothing. Now, if Beyonce were not Queen Bee, Jay-Z would have cared very little to none. Yeah, she's nice. She's pretty. She's completely broke. Yeah, that's fine. And a lot of women my age and younger really struggle to have any sympathy for what that's like as a man. Combined with AI and stuff, you can go be a wife, especially if you're pretty. Men have to compete with perfect robots if it comes to it. No empathy at all. So going to close this rant. I'm excited I just got 2,100. We should take chances. We might all get replaced with AI tomorrow, so invest in the person. If someone has a big boy, perfect job, I would look at his or her savings because that can go away. How fast? Well, ChatGPT just came out. And marketing, you have a marketing degree? Kind of wish I wouldn't have. Shit. Write a resume? ChatGPT just spit it out in 2 seconds. It's better than Shakespeare. Oh, I suddenly am irrelevant. It's a really interesting time. And it's not the normal stresses of history, war, meanness, we got to fix that. I lost my job, but I can try elsewhere. No, all the software companies, they're going to use the same stuff. So if one innovation happens, you could wipe out everybody with that skill set. And that is a different type of uncertainty and stress that I do feel like a lot of people who could help just say be tough. And it's very unfair. So do what you want, try to do it well, have a backup plan like ideal cards, but don't let people talk you out of it. Because it, it was hard for me at age 25. And though I kind of bash people who just kiss ass when they don't need to and do what someone else wanted them to do with their lives, it gets harder every year to leave it. And I think about Tom Brady, which I talked to my mom about this. Tom Brady, all he had to do was quit football. He'd already won all that. He doesn't need to sacrifice his family. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm not saying I would have given up my family if I were Tom Brady. But I'm saying you don't know what it's like to have been Tom Brady when they were trying to run him off the field at Michigan, when all his friends told him to go be an insurance salesman or whatever else because you're not going to be a football player. And he tried and he tried and he tried, caught his breaks, ended up successful. And Tom Brady says, well, now you want me to get off the field? Now you want me to get off the field. When you tried to replace me with a freshman, you tried to replace me with everybody. At first, it wasn't clear that Drew Bledsoe wouldn't come back and get the job again. And now you want me to quit. Are you kidding me? So you don't know what that's like either. But I do know this. Had Tom Brady done what everyone wanted, and it seems like his parents were pretty supportive of his football career, but they never dreamed he'd be what he became. No one did. But he got married, did a job he hated. He's like, man, I was good at football. And though they tried to run me off the field, a lot of it was Michigan had a lot of talent, timing was a part of it. So they didn't dislike me. They didn't think I wasn't good. They just had a really talented freshman. Drew Henson was his name. And, maybe I bloomed a little bit late. So that's why I didn't get other offers. And I just know I could have hung around in the NFL. I know I could have. And then you get divorced later. And then things don't go your way later. Now you don't only have to go through the custody battle and all that and other just hardships of growing up and responsibilities. Now you also have to sit there alone after that doesn't work out and say, I didn't chase my dreams. Oh, man. No, man. And then instead of having a cordial relationship with your children's mother, who is probably not a bad person in most divorces, now you're going to hate her because I could have been trying what I wanted to do. I'm at a job I don't like, and I'm too old to try now. So then you start to make her look like the devil when it just didn't work out. You weren't compatible. Whereas if we try and we create a world where it's acceptable to try, even in adulthood, even when things don't work out in other areas of our life, we won't be bitter and we won't hate people. And part of fixing that problem means we have to give people chances. So society, especially men, don't feel like we have to do this job that we hate. We can't try. Hey, no one's any good at chess. You got to start, I don't know. I never found anyone that has proven or disproven that. I don't have a referral anyway. And had I not been in a bad situation anyway, and COVID lockdown I had a house, I had a promotion, everything was going good, and suddenly it's not, I wouldn't have ever tried. I never would have left that willingly. And we need to create a society where that's more appropriate. It will make everyone happier and the world safer. I should be a motivational speaker. But instead, I'm going to sing Chris Brown, and I'm going to celebrate my new award real quick. Review my chess battle. They got me over 2,100. Be done. B. I guess there's probably some B minor scale in there that if this is in the key B minor, all that riff. That's all over some scale. But I don't know a lot of scales unless it's the root or the fifth string. Or unless the root is on the E or the A. But there's all kinds of stuff. And you see guitarists, how do they know to go there? Well, because in their mind, John Mayer does a great job breaking his songs down. He's a scientist, man. John Mayer is good with theory. He's elite with theory, but he also explains it very well. So when you see him, just how does he know to go to that? Because in his mind, he's in some song key at a high level. This is what he's thinking. And he knows every freaking scale, like that guy that wrote scales on posters all over the place. He knows everywhere, every E. Okay, of course, that's B minor. There's a B minor scale there. It's B minor, so there's a B minor scale here. But he knows his minor is pentatonic, which is just what it sounds like. It's a pentatonic, so it's taking parts of that minor out. But it's still a minor, and he knows where to go. And if you do that, you can not only create a lot more cool stuff, but you'll know where to go when you solo. You'll understand, like Chris Brown, why it works where it's at. The young boy just turned 16 and I got 6 balls and hot bikes that I brought. Keep 3 or 4 sweeties on my clock. But all the swinging in that bikini just might. I thought it was might convince him. Makes more sense. To not cheat on the hose when she's in a bikini because you don't love her for her mind or her personality. Anyway. But all that swinging in that bikini just might convince him. Slow all the traffic down to a complete stop. 'Cause you speak in that slang that I talk. That sassy tempo with that walk. Maybe the reason that all these teenies may never see me. Mama, you may be 3 years older, but you hot. Give me that. You be talking. Give me that. I know you like it how I lean in the lag. You could be in the back saying, gimme, gimme, gimme. Mama, you may be 3 years older, but you hot. Give me that. You be talking like you like what I got. Give me that. I know you like it how I lean in the lag. You could be in the back saying, gimme, gimme, gimme. Take a break. Let me explain to you what your body got a young boy ready to do. If you take a chance to let me put them things on you, I can show you why I make them straight A's at school. I'm a hustler. Trust my name and age. Got you thinking that I'm just too young to turn your page. I can picture us switching lanes in the coupe with you on a phone screaming my name. I wonder if you really got straight A's in school. I bet a lot of hustlers don't do that well in school. They're too busy hustling. I don't know. I was in Sunday school. Being told premarital sex is a sin. So I don't relate to hustlers a whole lot. Mama, you may be 3 years older, but you hot. Give me that. You be talking like you like what I got. Give me that. I know you like it how I lean in the lag. You could be in the back saying, gimme, gimme, gimme. Oh, mama, you may be. Oh, 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 oh. Are you serious? And I'll be watching you. Oh, 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 wow. That's what your body's saying. But give me that. Give me that. Give me that 2100 award. Oh, shit. Give me my 2100 award. I've got it. It's in my virtual trophy collection. I need to rest, take a break, go on a vacation, possibly go to rehab. I've always been pretty creative, pretty different, but I didn't jump around this much. I think it's because of isolation, learning chess. But that's what you got to do. Sacrifices must be made. The remaining years of the male brain being flexible, where it's not fully formed, I've seen anywhere between 25 and 30. So between 25 and 30, the male brain is completely formed. Not set in its ways, but not changing anymore. And I use that time to beat chess puzzles to death, play a lot at the club. I think I've played, well over 40 games over the board per year. Well over. Maybe even 40 events. Well, at the time Mike was there, so probably 2023, part of 2024, they did ladder weekends, which was 9 games in a weekend. And if I did that, I did at least 2 per year, so that's 18 games. I had to have played, I would think, close to 100 games. Never doing that, maybe not. But I also played some just hanging out at the club. Every now and then, if there was a very strong player and they were just killing time, I might play an unrated game. I played against the Hustlers, which they're not really, I call them hustlers. They just hang out outside and they talk shit to each other. I love it. They're hilarious. And they're not bad. I beat them because I'm taking classes, I'm training. But if I weren't playing with a plan and like if they studied and they took it seriously like me, they're pretty good because they basically play street chess. They don't know anything about openings. They're getting out of position. But they recover fine, and they're pretty smart. They just don't ever come in the club and try like I do. Just play against each other out of control, and they don't get punished for mistakes. So I beat them. So I played a lot of those games. And if I didn't do all that to get the patterns in my mind before my brain was completely formed, which it is now, I don't know that I have any potential. Now I think I have a lot of potential. If I get a chance to do it full time, this online stuff, it's not real. 2100 online, and I could get a lot better. Like I said, I took a break from Rapid. I was making a lot of progress before my break. I'm sure I can get to 2200 if I just go hard now. The problem is, who cares? 2100, 2200. It's a lot of stress and time that I'm not willing to commit right now. I would rather get good over the board, improve my over the board numbers, and then that jump would be easier. But man, if I got a chance to do it full time over the board, I'd tear it up. I would tear it up. So I've already done all my stupid stuff. All my mistakes online in terms of training and downward spiraling, playing too much. What did I just do? What did I do wrong there? Okay, you want me to play there because of the pin? You can't. Yeah, I'm making a lot of mistakes in these games too. Okay, so if I'm here, yeah, you just gotta go back. You're going to play f4 or bishop takes on c5. So I'm seeing the moves right. I'm seeing why I can't make certain moves as I'm calling out during the games. A little bit lazy. These are moves that longer over the board games I would at least think about or maybe not even do. But the reason for that rook move is if I'm here, that pawn is vulnerable because I'll have 1-2. So you're seeing me taking this pawn, which that's why the rebel wants you to just take. It's not very strong, but you're seeing if takes, which I am too. If here, then I can go there. But that's fine because if I take with my bishop, you'll just pin my queen. So that wouldn't be any good for me. And eventually you'll have enough attackers to win things. So I couldn't do that. There, I don't necessarily know why it's a problem. But that's clearly bad. You just handed me the game. You're reading all these issues. And then, like, if you do that, yeah, you're not going to develop super comfortably. But at least I have to play. I don't have a huge advantage. Just make my life super easy. I see mate in 6. There's mate. So how could you have prolonged it? Yeah, you just give me the rook. And then I'll smother you the same. All right. Lovely. So I'm 2100. It's exciting. At the same level or not, far from it, compared to a lot of the non-professional chess streamers. That's awesome. You control my brain. I'm going to touch grass, try to find a wife, and play a lot of over-the-board chess. But I can't keep sitting in here streaming. I want to talk, and I want to try to be entertaining if I'm streaming. And with chess, I can't do that. I don't necessarily care if people think I'm cheating online. If you want to wave a wand over my ass before I play over the board, as I improve, I guess be my guest. Just don't touch me. Don't do that. Don't do that. Hey. I'll be very dramatic about it, and I'll make you wish you hadn't waved a wand over my ass. But don't accuse someone of cheating. In my online, there's plenty of streams. And the Kramnik replies are just atrocious. I strongly believe if men and women understood how little most people would care, almost no one would take their own lives. I'm not trying to discount suicide or say people who take their lives are soft. I'm just saying, listen to Kramnik talk. They're going to rationalize it. They're going to blame other things, everything but themselves. Kramnik will blame Naroditsky's family for not checking on him, even though I'm sure on streams, Daniel said many times what the Kramnik thing was doing to him mentally. And Kramnik is too arrogant to consider, for example, when Naroditsky first became a grandmaster, I saw this and this made me sick. He I think drew against Kramnik when he was a kid still, and Daniel was supposedly so respectful, didn't want to waste Mr. Kramnik's time. And at that age, when Kramnik was younger, he was one of the very, very best in the world, if not the best. Didn't want to waste his time. I know he's busy. Everyone wants to autograph. Let's just leave him alone. And Daniel's mom supposedly said, "No, go get a picture. That's your idol. Go talk to him. You might not get this chance again." So after some pushing, Daniel went and talked to Mr. Kramnik. Daniel supposedly called him. So your mom told you this man is safe. You can trust him. You're not bothering him. That's part of being a chess celebrity, if you will. So you have memories not only of you studying Kramnik, you reading his books, you idolizing him, but before we were old enough to defend ourselves and understand the world can be mean, our parents had to protect us. So when Daniel was that age, he has memories of his mom saying, "That man is not a threat to you, son. I love my mom. I trust my mom. Okay, this man's not a threat to me." That's how kids think. And then when Daniel's an adult and has earned his opportunities and influence, that same man that your mom told you was safe tries to ruin your life. And the intent is worse than the result. Like everyone knows Daniel wasn't cheating, especially in America. And a lot of people just think, I thought Daniel was handsome. I think he's handsome. He's well-spoken. He's very kind. So some people don't even like him or know how good he is at chess. Nobody really cares. But to Daniel, it's not what was done to him. It was the intent of someone he trusted to hurt him. Still, look at how arrogant Kramnik is being. To not even accept that he might have played a role and that he had no evidence. Well, I did have evidence. These reports. He's one of the better grandmasters. He's well above the middle pack of grandmasters. In classical time control, Daniel was not competitive with the very best consistently, but he'd beat Caruana. He occasionally had beaten the very best. He's one of the best in the world in speed chess over the board. And look at some of the shit he did blindfolded. I mean, you can't do that. And he's still not going to take any accountability, and he's going to blame Daniel's family for the suicide or the overdose. I don't know if it's come out a for sure cause of death yet. What a dickhead. But most people are somewhat like Kramnik. Even if they're wrong and they're good people, they realize they're sorry. And in the case of mental health, become a public reminder of what they did to you. I'm sorry. So to prove I'm sorry, I'll be a mental health advocate. Well, that's great. You ruined my life. You cheated on me. You did something to me that hurt me. And now I get to look at you. Be a good person after I'm screwed. And that's the best you can hope for. And the worst is, again, Kramnik. So we should not take our lives. I don't care if someone says I cheated, but I would just punch him. I would have just punched him. I just found him and I would have punched him. Or he's older now, but if you're older and you're accusing people without evidence, I think you deserve the shit beat out of you. There's my membership. It's not worth this. And chess needs to fix that before they worry about people like me or the call it out stuff. You need to fix that if you want your game to grow, because that's a problem. Like, I might be annoying and you might need to tell me not to say something, but I would never do something like that. My whole problem with church, I'm a big reason I don't go anymore. Yeah, you sit in the front row. Yeah, you're picture perfect. Yeah, you don't say fuck. But many won't help someone and might even kick him when he's down. That's part of why I am the way I am. And it's a shame because online chess should be fun. And there are ways I think you can ease suspicions if there are cheating accusations done in a mature manner, presented in a mature manner. But if that's the world we live in and how online chess is, where I get Kramnik's argument in the Naroditsky case why he didn't go to FIDE because it's not their thing. They're not online chess, and I'm fine with that argument. And chess.com didn't do anything. Yeah, chess.com didn't do anything because they're getting so much slack over the Neiman thing, and I actually respect them for that. Not the Neiman thing, but telling Kramnik, hey, like, I don't care about your list. They have a team, and chess.com is not a startup anymore. We have people that handle this, and there's no evidence, especially with someone as strong as Daniel Naroditsky. But if you're going to do that to Naroditsky and you're going to let him just go on, and after the death, after a mom is going to her son's fucking funeral, you're still going to keep at it. And you're still going to blame the family when they've got enough to worry about. You asshole. And then you wonder why chess won't grow. Back to the marketing point. You market it like shit. There are a few like electronic billboard time things at the airport. But nobody knows that St. Louis has chess, let alone the best chess. You market it so terribly. It's incredible. It's incredible. And you need to make an example in situations like Kramnik too, or no one will ever make a living because no one will ever come by. And people like me who spend a lot of time, I might just say, hey, it was a COVID project. I like it. I'll still watch it. And I'll come when I can, but I like dealing cards. No one helped me. No one was mean to me necessarily, but nobody helped me. They were kissing Tyler One's ass for being a shitty chess player. I just got 2,100. He was a genius at 1,200. He has esports connections. And I'm good. I'm good. The called out stuff, I don't need to worry about that. I've done nothing wrong. I've never assaulted any women. I've never, if a woman that I was trying to date clearly said she wasn't interested, I've never done anything that could be deemed inappropriate. So I don't have to, that doesn't need to be a concern at all. And it is now because women just go to social media these days and there's many call it out pages in chess. One of the call it out pages, when Trump got elected, how can Kamala not get elected? Man, shut up. America voted. How can you not consider, well, America just voted for Trump. And it's not because everyone, especially like really nice people that are about kindness like my mom, it's not because they love what he said on reality TV or they like the grabber and the pussy stuff. It's because Kamala was an idiot who refused to go on the Joe Rogan podcast. You can't get elected not going on the Joe Rogan podcast. She can't speak. She can't improvise. Trump went on everything. And like Trump or dislike him, he cares about America. On 9/11, you can see him doing what he could and just really, really loves his country. And if shit hits the fan like it did in 2020, you don't want someone who refuses to go on the Joe Rogan podcast because she can't answer questions or compete unless it's handed to her on a platter. Nothing against women, but I saw a called out page in chess where women were saying there's a qualified people. You just want women to win everything until girls hate you and your role models because no man thinks they're attractive, even if we do think they're attractive. And they realize as they get older, maybe I want to start a family. Maybe I don't have chess talent. Maybe I don't want to be a chess player. And that stuff is just obnoxious. You have so many problems that are keeping a beautiful sport, and more importantly, the people who have mastered it, from getting opportunities and the recognition they deserve. I'm going to stop ranting. If I've said anything in my streams that is too far, I'm kind of sort of sorry. Just know I was under a lot of stress. I was probably playing chess, which means I was further just in a really focused mindset. And I'm going to focus mostly on over the board now until I get strong enough to where I think I can quickly make progress. My blitz chess, I'll get to 2,200, and then my online goals are complete. I might never play online again. Unless there's a sincere apology to Neiman from two parties, which is Carlson, most importantly. And it's not that you like him or that you agree with him or you think that he's correct in how he promotes himself and how he promotes chess. It's not about that. It's that, did he cheat? Was there any evidence he cheated at the 2022 Sinkville Cup round 3? If no, then you apologize to Neiman. And two parties, genuine apologies. I don't have any interest in playing online chess. I'll play over the board. And if I stream after I get to 2,200 in Blitz, I'll probably be mostly music and possibly some other video games. What this has done to me is not healthy. And when I was sitting in my phone booth, and the news broke about the Naroditsky stuff, I'm like, damn. Here I am feeling sorry for him because he was the first of the really good players who made chess seem possible for beginners. My first introduction, actually before my first stream, my very first stream, I mispronounced Naroditsky's name. That was my first stream. When I was most nervous, when I didn't know what I was doing, it got better as I did more of my weekly episodes. But at first, I'm sitting there going, what am I doing before every stream? And I would have to take a minute or two before my weekly videos to get those thoughts out of my head and let them circulate. Why am I doing this? I'm so lonely. Oh my gosh, I hate my decisions. And then I would go. But I had to eliminate that mindset and that ugliness from my attitude. Otherwise, my streams wouldn't have been any good. And my very first one, I did a Mike Stud guitar cover. And I referenced Daniel Naroditsky because I had just went to visit my friend Andrew as the COVID restrictions were easing. And Andrew was he flattered me. He got in the chess a little bit. I think he was like 600 on chess.com maybe. And he showed me, hey, have you seen Daniel Nardisky? He's pretty cool. We watched Daniel Nardisky for a couple hours. We played over the board a little bit. I don't know if we're playing daily games or what, but we did some online play, and I was no good. I was probably 700 at that time. I'm like, Daniel Nardisky is good. I watched some more of them, and I referenced him in my first stream.
I spent several hours last week at a friend's house. My friend's name is Andrew. And I did this for two reasons. One, Andrew's just a great guy. He and I have gotten along well ever since we met my junior year of college. The second reason for my visit to Andrew's, there's this gaping hole in my heart. It's a void which can be only filled through live in-person chess. And after Andrew and I were done playing a few games, we turned on YouTube videos to watch Daniel Nardisky.
I said Daniel Nardisky.
And I certainly apologize if I mispronounce any grandmasters' names throughout the course of this podcast. It is unprofessional, inexcusable, and I deserve hate comments. Just make sure in those hate comments you also include your contact information so you and I can get together and schedule a game. Anyway, Daniel was playing back-to-back 3-minute rapids on chess.com.
I didn't even know what the blitz game was.
While also explaining
I just thought it was a shorter rapid game.
His thought process behind each move. And I'm not going to be the one to call him on his BS because it sounded like he knew what he was talking about. But I just want to be clear that during this podcast, and especially tonight, my goal is not to impress anyone with my chess knowledge. My goal is simply to prove I am competent enough to hang with some of the best chess players on this planet for one game if they play poorly and I handicap them significantly to level the playing field. And I'm real tired. And though there are some things that
you don't have to
got to cope. Long years.
And that's how
Anger,
I opened my
25. Mike Stud sing a song to you.
Channel.
My dishes. Easy wins to boost my.
But that's the core of my channel. And to me now, everything's contingent upon me getting really good at chess. If I am, then everything else will work out, including my content monetizing, because you'll go back and instead of just being another streamer that's doing a fun challenge, grind to 2,000, then you quit 2 years in because you can't figure it out. Oh, well, he actually figured it out. So now you go back and all those videos are super relevant, super cool, and super helpful. Because I explained how I learned, and that was before I moved to St. Louis or had any intent to. I didn't even know in those early videos that St. Louis had chess, let alone chess capital of America. So that was just me applying mostly what I learned from tech and reading a few books about the brain to chess. And now just got way more advanced because I talked to many instructors at the club, went to many lectures, made a lot of mistakes. But look how much I don't regret any of this at all. But that first video talking about Daniel Nardisky, I recovered nicely because I'm like, was it Nardisky or Nardisky in my head? But I tried not to re-record. I would do a video. I think I would do like a trial run every Thursday. And if I was just killing it, sometimes I would just go with that. But it was more just to get in my head what I wanted to do in the order of things. But I made a habit of finishing everything. Like if I mispronounced something, or if I forgot a part of my script, I would try to finish it. And if anything, I would redo it, but I would play the chess game. I'd do it all till the end. That way my brain doesn't get in the habit of thinking it's acceptable to stop, because then you stop working. And sometimes it can be funny. Like in that, I realized that might have been Nardisky. But had I just stopped the stream there, one, I would have created bad habits. And two, it ended up being okay because it was an opportunity to play it off and say, well, if I mispronounce anyone's name, I don't know if I did or not in my head, just put something in the comments and we can schedule a game. You can correct me. And that is what's fun about life. It's not being perfect. It's not, if you're trying to promote something and grow something, it's not madness crossing perfect games. It's the fuck ups. It's, hey, I didn't start young enough. Maybe I'm not a winner. That's that song by Post Malone and Morgan Wallen, Losers. That is what most people appeal to or relate to. And from what I gather, the chess marketing approach is just very bad overall because they're trying to promote winners. They're trying to make people care about madness crossing before they understand chess. And it just makes us feel like maybe we are failures in life. And now I've had so much fun playing chess. Like I said, I don't regret any of it. I've went on very few like real dates with women who seem like marriage material. And of those very few, when they find out I'm streaming, they're done with it. They're done with it. And even more that are just chats on a dating app or on social media. Anytime it gets to the streaming stuff, it's not serious. It's not big boy enough, and I don't regret any of it. The only sex I've had have been with women I would not take home to my granny, though, as I've had kind of some of those experiences with women who are nice, let's figure it out. And then you end up marrying someone who does drugs and hits you or something. And I've had a few friends from high school that, I won't go into that. But you realize no one's perfect. But I'm like, maybe those kind of trashy women, maybe I should take them home to my granny, because at least they talked to me. Shit, when I was streaming, I didn't have the corporate job anymore. Most didn't want to know why I didn't have the corporate. Didn't want to know why I was streaming at all. Just like, you're an adult. Get out of here. You're at karaoke. So, but I don't regret any of it. I don't regret moving to St. Louis, even though there was a period where I thought about quitting when the Hans Niemann stuff. Like, this is exactly what led to my chess pursuit. Not having a referral. We don't have any evidence we don't like you. H-1B visa. Google it. Trying to fish for dirt on me because you messed up, and the real reason is the H-1B visa. God, if I'm already here, let's just play some chess. I'm here at the club. I already have a job. Oh well. And I ended up being pretty decent. But it was just hell. Why am I doing this? And if they do that to Neiman, they do it to me. This is everything I try to get away from. But I like chess. And now that I like chess, I don't want anyone to help me. I don't want to be promoted. Gotham Chess was helping Tyler One when he didn't need it. He already streamed. When someone like me, I'm a software engineer, I bullshitted my way into that. I just learned what I needed to, more than what I needed to. I'm definitely competent enough. I can go back to tech. Well, I could really use some help, man. And now if there's ever a video made about me because my content blows up and, hey, this is helpful. This is, he went through what I'm going through as a beginner, as an adult, and I'll buy it now. I'll buy a membership. I'll follow top chess creators because he's me. His parents didn't hand him a chessboard like Anna Cramley's. No offense to Anna. That's cool. I would kindly ask Levy to take the video down about me. Any streamers who discuss me, I would kindly ask them to let me do it myself because nobody helped me. And at best, people were, indifferent. I met the both his sisters at the club, or Alex, at least. Her sister was playing. They seemed very kind and no indication they're mean at all. They're not genuine. I mean, hell, they could have been supermodels and they're, streaming chess and trying to help chess grow. But I still would not want to associate with them. If they have any ideas on my chess, if they look at my games and hear your weaknesses, please help me. But I do not want to associate with the chess community in a bigger capacity. Now I'm dealing cards. I would do that anyway, even if I were rich. I like it. It keeps me from gambling too much. And the casinos were good to me, Wall People and chess. I mean, I'm a member. I have a membership every year. So they've helped me, and the Grandmaster in Residence have been great. But as far as chess as a whole, Rex Sinkfeld is the reason St. Louis has chess, and it seems like he's getting really old. He was about my level. He's a pretty decent chess player. I'm sure he didn't play that much because he was a businessman. But when he was younger, he was decent. He seems to really care about chess, or he wouldn't have spent his last remaining good years on it. And when the founder dies, you got to wait and see how it all shakes out. That's why I wouldn't mind moving to Charlotte. Seems younger, seems more inclusive of people like me, a lot more unique players, meaning it's not just the same people at every event. And it can get real corporate real quick. It can get real corporate real quick when a founder dies. And I want to see how that shakes out. Corporate does a lot of good things. There's a lot of advantages of being on the same page and structured, but not for chess. Chess, like I just said, you can see my face light up. I had fun. Those memories of in the Narodaisky, like going to my friend's house when I wasn't really, I've never been suicidal except for when my TikTok was banned, because that's just taking away my voice. And if the future turns into that, so many thoughts come up. Similar to me saying, Kramnik, it's not about what it did to Daniel's reputation. He didn't actually believe those things. He wasn't losing followers. No one believed Narodaisky was bad. It was that a man who he trusted and who he respected had intent to hurt him. And that's why I was only suicidal at one point in my life, which was my TikTok ban. I shouldn't say this, but the overdose reminded me of my friend's suicide, so I tried to be vulnerable. I spent a few days in the psych ward. I made comments to my mom about not wanting to be alive, which happens every holiday season, or at least the 2 I worked at the casino. It was weird. I felt like a failure because I couldn't go home for the holidays. When you're corporate, and that's all I knew as a kid, you get off early, and then during the holidays, you will be off. You will be off to spend time with your family at Christmas, Thanksgiving, whatever you want. And it happened in 2022 during the holiday season. Man, it's not easy anymore. I feel like I've let down my family. I feel like, you know, everyone else is doing it, but I'm not used to this. If I would have just been a good little bitch in corporate, I would have had these days off. I wouldn't be working at nights. In extreme cases, somebody hitting the table, brushing my fingers. I'm like, damn. And I just get really sad. And that happened this year as well when I returned to dealing. And after a 4-day stretch, I'm part-time, but during the holidays, you pick up hours because it's busy. I got done with my 4-day stretch for Thanksgiving. And I miss my family, miss being home. The chess stuff has worked out, but not worked out in the way I wanted it to when I started streaming in 2021. And I made comments to my mom like, hey, I'm just done. And my TikTok had recently got banned for just stupid stuff. No warning, no time to download my content, just delete me. And I made comments to my mom. I turned my phone off. I was actually playing chess in my car with my dog before I went to bed because we like to go to the gas station and get some Pepsi. And the cops came, and because of the comments I made to my mom, they labeled me suicidal, and there should be laws around it. I think I could sue the city, honestly. I'm not going to. But they were nice. Nothing against the cops. They were just doing their job. They put me in handcuffs. They patted me down to see if I had a weapon on me. I've never shot a gun in my life. I've never threatened to kill anyone. I made shady comments on social media that you could spin to be threatening, but no criminal record. Patted me down for a weapon without my consent. I had my dog with me. I have a waist leash so I can talk on the phone, so I can toss the football, whatever, when we're walking. If we go somewhere, I like to have the waist leash so I can eat my food and grab a drink instead of having to hold her. And they said, basically, we're taking your dog and you're going to the hospital. I said, you can't do that. And they got handcuffs out. And I was nothing but respectful because cops were just doing their job. I said, what are you doing? I said, we have to take you to the hospital because of statements you made to your mom. I said, did she show you the statements? And my mom would have had time to go to the police station. They were in St. Louis for her doctor's appointment. And they just said, we're taking you. Like, she didn't show you. And there weren't important people deciding if that's just me going through a hard time or if I'm actually dangerous or if I'm actually suicidal. You cannot put me in handcuffs, but they were going to. And I said, you're going to let me walk my dog to the apartment. They were trying to take my dog off my waist. And they said, we're going to get her in your apartment. Where's your key? All that. I said, you're not taking my dog. She's from the shelter. And I'm like, I'll fight cops and lose. You're not taking my dog. I said, I will comply. I said, I will walk with you. I will walk with you to my apartment so I can not cry and make sure my dog is happy and not scared or worried about dad. You're not taking my dog. They took my dog, put me in handcuffs, took me to the hospital. I talked to one guy, and I think he's full of shit, but he was trying to calm me down. Now I was crying. You took my dog off me. My dog's scared now. Strangers just stole her when she's from the shelter. So God knows what happened to her in the short time before I got her. And he said, I went through a hard time. We've all been there, man, especially as men, trying to act like he's like related to me. Probably since you didn't make the statements, if you want out, they'll just hold you for a couple hours and they'll let you go home. Like, fine. Well, no, because mental health is a business. So I had to talk to a doctor. She said, do you want voluntary or involuntary care? Are you fucking kidding me? I said, I want to leave. I've done nothing wrong. I'm not a criminal. She said, well, you're not in prison. I said, what is this? This is a room with no sharp objects. You won't let me leave. I said, what will happen if I try to leave, ma'am? You'll be restrained. I said, that sounds like prison. Sounds like prison. And she said, voluntary or involuntary care. Because now they're going to make money off me. I said, well, involuntary means I am trying to walk out like I just said. And you told me they'll restrain me. She said, yeah, if you do voluntary, it'll be shorter. If it's involuntary, they won't be so lenient with your release date. I said, release date? Why don't you just give me a number and a jumpsuit like I'm an actual convict? And she said, so would you like voluntary care? I said, I want to talk to a lawyer, but it sounds like that's not going to happen right now. So I said, I guess I'll do voluntary. Put me in an ambulance, which is another thousands of dollars. My insurance is going to cover most of it. Drove me 30 minutes out. There was a snowstorm that day. So the ambulance went super slow. And I'm sitting here thinking, God, I'm going to be with people who are majorly fucked up, probably on drugs. But the hospital, it looked like they had different, like sectioned off departments for the psych ward, probably one for addiction, one for people who are actually suicidal. I don't know. But when I walked out, I walked through the other one, and it looked like they were more, not to be mean, but normal, just probably going through an addiction or more substance-based problems. Whereas mine, it was people who genetically were talking to themselves. And my roommate, actually, I was there for 2 days, and I got let out because I don't need to be there. But he reminded me of Frank Ocean when he was fine. The dude was fucking amazing. I didn't know what he was going through. I didn't know what he did, so I didn't get his contact information or anything. But he sang like Frank Ocean, and he was a handsome young black man. Damn, you could be a fucking star. He sang to himself at night. Like, wow, the talent in this world. If we just help people instead of putting them in handcuffs. But that was all because I made comments. And a lot of that was because of my TikTok ban. It's the only time I've been suicidal. And that is something women will never understand. Even if a woman makes the same comments, ain't nobody putting her in handcuffs. Ain't nobody. And that's PTSD type shit. I don't talk to my mom because of it. I'm like, hey, abortion, my body, my choice. My body, my choice. Maybe this is fucked up of me. My body, my choice, mom. Society, you cannot do that. Even if I were suicidal, you cannot do that. If I would commit a crime and I hurt somebody, now that's different. I've done nothing wrong. And women will never understand what it's like to be a man. That's just one example. And so I do take mental health seriously, and the Narodisky stuff and allowing Kramnik to continue being a dumbass. I don't want to be a part of that world at all. After the fact, we need to be better. We need to be kinder. Andrea Botez even mentioned in one of her streams, the Neiman thing was not good. And it's a shame it takes your friend killing himself for you to realize what you did to someone else. And there are memes on Instagram pages. Alexandra even has a joke of beads in her Instagram. All right, well, that was your friend. So I don't want to be friends with any of you. The Narodisky thing was just a cap on it. I would like to associate with really good players and, if possible, promote them because they don't run their mouths. They're too busy getting good at chess. But as far as the streamers, as the fun chess group, as the people who promote chess, I want nothing to do with any of them, even the ones I like. I would take their autograph. If it's a title, like an elite player that chose to stream or got older, realized it wasn't going to make money, or that wasn't his or her passion, like Dina Belankaya, someone who's actually about it and actually could have been a grandmaster, I would consider talking to them. But aside from autographs from chess streamers and people who I think are funny and will still watch, won't say bad things about, nothing to do with any of you, period. Because when I needed help, they were kissing Tyler One's ass. They were making fun of Neiman, and Neiman was me before anyone would have known me, and that's what led me to chess. Google H1B, I want nothing to do with you, period. There are 2,000 to 2,100 rated athletes at the club who, now that they realize I'm serious and I'm not near them, but I'm where they would have to wake up and try if they're not a master. And they help me. They might be kinder to me now that I'm not just using chess as a joke. And you're better than these streamers. And they're really about it. They're making no money. When they play really good players like international masters and grandmasters, they know they're probably going to lose. And they're still showing up even while they're starting a family and accepting I'm getting too old. Chess isn't just something I can go do anymore. I have a wife or I have a job. And they're still showing up because they love it. And those would be my people if I had to choose people in chess. I want nothing to do with the streamers or the chess entertainment business at all. I will play guitar. I will play other games if I make it as a streamer. And I'll play chess because it makes me happy. I have too many good memories of learning chess to make it political and corporate-y. And my very first episode was talking about Daniel Narodisky, and he's dead now because of your stupid fucking politics. My friend killed himself. I don't exactly know why, but he was hurting, and he didn't feel comfortable telling people. I don't want to be around professionals or a business that allows that environment. I have my problems. They have their problems. Two wrongs don't make a right. I'll play just because I enjoy it. I'm going to walk my dog and try to get healthy because when I was 5 years younger, I showed that first episode. My brain didn't rant like this. My brain didn't jump from place to place. I think a lot of that is just the loneliness and playing too much chess alone. So I want to get back to how I felt then when chess was fun. And I looked a lot better. I was a lot younger and I felt a lot healthier.